Hey guys, Morgan coming back to you finally with another KDX build video. Sorry, it has been crazy here this spring. And finally getting around to it. Finally got a little break in racing. Finally got a little break in work, although I could hardly say that's a break in work. But anyway, you know what I mean. Finally found some time. So if you remember from the last video, we took the rear end of the bike apart, or off, apart, what, anyway, took it all off, and there it is. We're down here at the shop because I need to do some serious cleaning on this stuff, and I don't have a parts washer, I don't have an ultrasonic there at the house yet. All that stuff is coming eventually, I just don't have it. Can't afford it yet, so that's where we are. But we brought the stuff down here to do some cleaning, and we are going to use the Tusk swing arm bearing installation tool and see if we can actually use it on the Linkage too. So real quick, I'm going to take this stuff, and through the magic of video editing, I'm going to come back to this bench, and it's all going to be much cleaner than it is. I'm going to be using the ultrasonic and parts washer and all that stuff, and then we're going to take the bearings out of this stuff, put bearings in this stuff, and then we're going to reinstall all of it onto the KDX in this video, and get the KDX up and rolling again off of our stand at home, because we have some other work I got to do on my other bikes on that stand, and I need it back. And then that'll be the end of this video, and then we'll move on to all the rest of the cool stuff we're doing with the KDX. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this KDX stuff, or really any kind of motorcycle stuff, because that's what we do. We do all motorcycle stuff here, from our weekly Schlog stuff, which is what I'm down here editing also, and then ride videos, review videos, race videos, test videos, story time videos, all kinds of videos. So anyway, let's get after it. All right, we got the swing arm all cleaned up. It looks much, much better now. I'm waiting on the linkage. It is in the ultrasonic over there. So we're going to do the swing arm while we wait for that. So let's set you guys down. All right, as I mentioned before, we're using a whole bunch of Tusk stuff. Not all Tusk, but mostly Tusk. Partially because Rocky Mountain ATV is the biggest sponsor of the channel, and they are very, very generous. But then also because I want to test it and see how it does. Because I know that not all of the stuff that Tusk makes is good. And I've mentioned that before. I've had a couple of other things I can't remember right now. But I want to make sure you guys know what I actually believe in, what works. So we're going to try it, and we'll report in as we use this KDX. The biggest thing that this KDX has coming up for it is my wife and I are going to do the Rim Rocker Trail on 2-strokes, and she's going to ride this. She is not generally a dirt biker, so she can make them go, and she's ridden the KDX a decent amount, but not a ton. So we're going to get this thing all, that's part of why we're doing this, is to get it all set up for ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to pull this swing arm stuff apart, get the spacers all out. Let's see, get it down here. Got those inner spacers, should be able to push. Yep, there we go. Inner races. Spacers out. Oh, this one might take a little bit. Oh, there we go. It's moving. Not actually too bad, surprisingly enough. I think the guy I got this bike from took very good care of it. So could probably actually just grease these and get them back together. But we're going to replace them because I want to make this thing as good as I can for her for this trip. So, all right, there we go. Now, let's see if this bearing tool will work. It's a pretty nice setup, nothing crazy, but you know, nice machined parts. What we need, we get this off of here. Now we gotta find the right bearing drivers. Ooh, yeah, look at that. I might have got lucky. Open this and see, because I can't tell if that is the right size or not, because it's kind of dirty in there, and what I don't want to do is be pushing on the aluminum of the swing arm. So we're just going to pop this sucker. Oh, these are nice bearings too. They're caged. That's actually really nice. I mean, the other ones are caged too. Alright, so that looks like that's going to be the right one. There we go. So now what we can do, put this through here. And guys, if you have a press and all that, just do it with that. And if you've already done this, you know what you're doing, then go for it. But for the folks who have not, then I want to show you how to do this. So here's the thing. So this is going to be able to push it out. What we need to do is create a way for it to push it through. And so, like, hold on. What I can't do now is slide this over this and try to push it out, because it'll just butt up against this. And that's what this is for doing installs. But what we can do, I believe, now take our driver, it's going to push it out like that. Take this just to back it. Nut on here. And like I said, guys, there's lots of faster ways to do this. I'm not pretending like this is the fastest way to do this, but this is a safe way to do it, and a good way if you don't want to risk bending this, because if you have a press and you're pushing on this, you can bend this way. So this is just a nice safe way to do it. I'm going to try using our pliers, wrenches here. Alright. I think this is going to work. Might need to use just a little bit smaller socket. There we go. There we go, that's better. That lines up on the flat surface better. There we go. All right, I'm going to chalk this up in my vise to make this just way easier. Eventually, if you guys are doing it, you'll feel it start to give and push. And I just did. All right, so that's going too slow. We're using a wrench. Now, what we're probably going to run into is this is not going to be deep enough for the both bearings. So we'll get one out, and then we'll have to take that out and get the other one. There we go. So there's one. The other one is still stuck in there, and I bet, let's see. Doesn't have far to go, so boom. Sweet. Now we'll do the other side. Same way, super simple. Now, just clean. And there are new bearings. And I'm going to put them in ungreased, and then I'm going to grease them when I get them in there. So they've got a flat side and kind of a cone side. I'm going to put the cone side in, so I'm going to push against the flat side. And here is the thing. I want to come in. Well, we got to do both. So we got to come in from this side, obviously, like that. There we go. I'm going to go in this side and then in from the other side, and we have to have the right amount of spacing for our outer spacers. These are actually all really nice from Tusk, guys. Like rubber coated, just like the ones that came out. So those are super nice. So I think what we'll do, let's start. I'm gonna start over here and go in from the outside. Again, I'm gonna push on the flat part. And we're gonna. That's nice and flat on there. I'll get this squared up. And then we'll take it out and measure with the spacer. We'll just kind of go back and forth because there's no real stop. Like there's no way to, it doesn't have like an official depth. But obviously you can see that just goes right in, no problem. That does not look far enough in to me. Oh, maybe. That's close. But not quite. A little bit more. Probably going a little too far is all right. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. We gotta be careful because what we don't want to do is make it so the inner piece doesn't fit. All right, there we go. So that goes in. Now, what you want to do, you got to make sure you're not driving the other one in from the other side. So you just want to pay attention, make sure this one's going out or, you know, in, and the other one's not also coming in. Appropriate size wrench is much easier to use, guys. I should have pulled this back out. There we go. Don't think, because this, see how that has that? Yeah. So that has that recess in it. So once I get this in here, this is not going to let these go too far in. What I should have done was put this on here and not left that in there. That's my bad. Now you guys know. Don't do that. That will keep it from pushing that bearing any further in. Yeah. I should have known that. I don't know what I was thinking. All right. So now we're going to take our gripper grease from our friend Tyler Humphreys, who makes the Moose Juice. We're using this as bearing grease for all linkage bearings from now on. This stuff is absolutely the stickiest, gnarliest stuff I've ever used, and it does not blow out when you're using a pressure washer. It is so good. I absolutely love this stuff. He doesn't have it for sale that I know of yet on his website. I'm trying to get him to get it there. Hopefully we'll make that happen. It is like no other grease I have ever used. It's also a huge mess, but I don't care. There we go. Now I'll take our race and our spacers. Got some big vice grippy guys. There we go. So this will allow us to move. There we go. All right, now we got both seals in. Sweet. That'll be good. Now we'll do the other side. Works just the other way. Obviously, I can't slide this through, so I got to go like this. What we can do is just go like that. Boom. There we go, guys. Swing arm bearings done. Now I'm gonna take out the linkage bearings. Sounds like the ultrasonic is done with them, and do the same thing. If I find anything interesting, I'll bring you guys back in. Otherwise, the next thing will be putting this back onto the KDX. All right, guys, got the linkage and swing arm all rebuilt. Really happy with how that went. That Tusk tool is super rad. So, yeah, let's head back to the home shop and get this stuff installed. All right, guys, we are back at the home shop. Got the KDX here, ready to go back together on the back end at least. We obviously have a lot to do to make this thing, all ready to rock and roll. Although, honestly, the bike was running just fine before. There was nothing really wrong with it. I just want to go through it and make it nicer again, because it's such a nice bike. And my wife deserves to have it all ready to rock and roll. So I talked to Rocky Mountain. We got a bunch of parts. So anyway, let's get the back end on this thing. Obviously, we're going to start with the swing arm and the linkage. And then we're going to get the wheel, which is, where's the wheel? I don't even know where the wheel is. There it is. And we're going to put a new tire on it. And going to check the rear wheel bearings. I have new bearings, but if they're still good, we're just going to do a tire. If not, we'll do the wheel bearings. But anyway, yeah. Let's grab the swing arm. All right. Boom, here we go. Got our pivot bolt. Now we're going to get in here and see if we can't. There we go. Guys, when you're doing all this, just make sure, tighten things down and then move it. Make sure everything moves like it's supposed to move. It does. That's good. Now we'll get the linkage all set up. Don't know that anything on this matters as far as like how it goes together. So like right or left. There we go. Nice and tight. Oh, that's nice. I don't know if you guys remember before, but this thing moved like a crazy amount. So glad to have it like that. That is awesome. So one thing I don't have are these little plastic hooks that go in the swing arm. Those broke before I ever got the bike, I'm pretty sure. But so we're gonna have to deal with that later, but not right now. We'll be all good. Now let's take a look at this wheel. So there doesn't feel like there's any play in these bearings, and they spin really nicely. So I'm going to leave these bearings alone, and we have extra ones. So maybe later this year, after my wife gets some time on the bike, we can replace them. But right now, I feel like they are good to go. Got some coffee for this job. It's Monday, day off. Man, we had a big weekend. We went to Supercross. I drove all the way to Denver, watched Supercross, and drove all the way back. We did spend the night there. But anyway, it's craziness. So a little tired, so we're doing coffee in the afternoon.
Three hours later.
Oh man, guys, I had to edit that because that was taking forever. This moose has been on here for an eternity. So, there we go. We got it. Psyched. And we are not putting a moose back on it because, like I mentioned, we're going to do some dual sporty kind of stuff with it. So we got a Tusk T35. It's kind of a smallish one. It's a 100, 118, which is the preferred tire on a KDX generally. It's kind of been sitting around for a while, so it's going to be a little bit of a battle to get it on there, but we got a tube. I'll go grab that here. Guys, we're using a Tusk Severe Duty tube, 4mm tube. This is super nice and thick. I'm actually really impressed with how burly this thing feels. And I don't have an air compressor here at the house, so using our Air Moto thing, which actually has been such a nice piece of equipment to have in the van. It just lives in my van. It is so sweet. I had a deal with these guys. Well, all they did was they gave me one. I've bought actually 4 since then, one for each car in the family, because it's such a nice thing. You just set whatever pressure you want it to go to. It'll run until it hits that. I'm just going to run it until it puts enough air to hold shape. I said it wasn't good, so what? Diva was. Just noticed I don't have a rim strip on this thing. I gotta fix that. I'm gonna make one out of duct tape, I think. Cause, yeah, that ain't gonna work. All right, duct tape rim strip installed. Right now I'm wondering why on earth I have the sprocket up. I never, ever change tires or install tires with the sprocket up. That's the worst idea ever, but we're doing it. I had it right before I realized the rim strip thing, so anyway, we'll just be real careful. Now that I'm looking at this tire on here, I'm thinking I might go with a bigger tire for the actual trip. This looks awfully small. I mean, no big deal. KDX is a small bike and all that, but it just looks small to me. We'll put it at like 15 for now. It's going to be a while before she rides anyway, because we still have some work to do. But you guys definitely make sure you subscribe if you want to see it, because the pressure's on now. Because she's ready to start getting ready for this trip. So, and the weather's getting nice, so I got to get after it. All right, so that was actually 16, and that ain't enough. So we're gonna, not to seat the bead, gonna run it up to 20, see if that'll seat the bead. Then we can obviously lower it back down. There we go. There we go. Nice. And the cool thing is, there's a button over here on the side. Just let it out and set it where you want it. Still green on the charge light. I really, really do like this thing a lot, guys. And I don't stand to make 1 penny if you buy one, but it's Air Moto. I say do it. All right, before I slap it back on, I'm going to take some of this. Take some of the Z-Max lube and spray it just into the bearings behind the seals. And that stuff it's like a penetrant, it's a grease, it's like a liquid grease that has like this accelerant or whatever that fires it in there, and then that evaporates and goes away and it sets up. It's really good. So anyway, got that, got the axle all greased up. Let's go install it. Also got a set of Tusk brake pads. Guys, I'm gonna do that because they look bad. So I'm gonna grab a screwdriver, we're gonna pump that out, and we'll get those brake pads out, drop new ones in. Boom! There we go. Just had to get them squared up. Now let's see. Get this on here, and then we'll see if we're gonna have to do anything with the bleeding the brakes. All right, that's good enough for now. All right, now I gotta put the brake pedal back on. One of you guys had the brilliant notion that I should have thought of, but obviously I'm not as smart as some of you guys. I'm a little bit special, but to do like that so that nothing's in the way. I feel silly that I didn't think of that. There we go. I'm gonna grease that pivot right there. Nice. I like it. All right, guys. This video is done. We got the back end of this thing all nice and solid. I feel so good. So happy about that, because it's one of the things I was not sure about on this bike, man. It was like, that was rough. It was super, super loose. And part of it was the bolts were loose. And actually, I forgot to show you, when I took the linkage, the rest of the linkage bearings out, one of the races, the inner races, was broken. Probably because the bolt was loose and then got ridden like that. And anyway, so stoked to have that fixed. Really, really happy. Obviously, guys, we got a lot left to do. Air filter. So air filter, front tire, front brake pads. This fork guard situation, I don't know what I got to figure that out. We just made this work, which is an old KTM fork guard. And it doesn't match the other one. I don't know. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. But I'm super excited. I did find a set of IMS foot pegs for it. So get rid of these terrible, skinny little things. Those are going to go away. Let's see what else we have. We have graphics. Excited about that. New seat cover. Let's see, chains, sprocket, grips, hand guards, and then a lot of cleaning and making this thing ready. So make sure you guys stick around. I'm super excited to get this thing back up to speed and looking nice for my wife to ride and whoever else wants to ride it in the meantime. This bike has taught a lot of people how to ride. It's just an amazing bike and I absolutely love it. Massive thank you to Robbie Noyles. Robbie, thank you for this motorcycle. He gave this to us to transition my one boy, Thomas, from his KDX100 onto a 125, and it worked perfectly. The motor's in incredible shape, so there's no reason to do anything there. Yeah, I think I might push it outside and wash it now, but it's the end of this video, guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. I hope you like these videos, this little restoration video series on the KDX. If you have any questions about KDXs, comment below. If you want to know what the jetting is, 152/42. Robbie always writes his jetting down on the plastic somewhere on the bike, and it's really nice. And this bike runs really, really well like that. Yeah, guys, I'm excited. I love you. We'll see you on the next one.